What's up guys, Nolan here, and with the recent news of a new map expansion and the likelihood that it is factory, I've been putting two and two together and assuming that this will allow for easier testing of map-to-map travel. Whenever I mention this map-to-map travel, I get a lot of people who either see it as a bad thing or don't understand why we would want it. To me, map-to-map travel represents a step towards open world because it is. For those who don't know, BSG are pushing to have open world as a separate game mode in Escape from Tarkov for the end game, where the entire map is one and you can move freely wherever you want. If BSG gets map-to-map travel right, then they can start adding more and pushing them together for open world. That being the long-term goal, with the simple short-term goal as more autonomy and freedom in raid. Being able to move around and fight or find new angles requires space, and the more the better in my eyes. The only two sides of this argument are handled here as good and bad. If you want smaller maps and see this as bad because of the loss of PvP, then yeah, that stinks. You're gonna have to wait for the arena to get your full fix, or just assume that BSG will raise the player limits like what they did with customs. There's the lingering point that has to be made here too, that based off of the lore, a fight between two PMC groups is supposed to be kind of rare, and you really should be fighting the environment mostly, which I think BSG are bracing for that change once they have the arena and Karma system ready to keep everyone happy. So map-to-map travel is great because it gets us closer to open world, which allows us to move more freely, and one may say it gives us a lot more room for activities. Don't knock it until you try it, guys. It's not in the game yet, and we need to test these things. You can't stay eating chicky nuggies for the rest of your life. There comes a time when you need to try new things. Next, we have the in-raid traders. According to Nikita, there at least was a time when they planned to have all of the traders only accessible in-raid, and every map would have at least one of their own traders. You would, of course, have to travel on foot in-game to whoever you need to buy things from in order to obtain the items. I'm not sure if this is still the plan right now, but I do know that there is a rumor that they are planning to have at least one in-raid trader, and the other part of that rumor is that that trader will handle the heavy explosives and launchers to make those more difficult to access. Also on top of that, there's this. Before you jump off of a cliff, no, that's not Prapper because he's got hair, although he does look very similar, and I have no clue who this other guy is either. Apart from the holster on the second guy, neither of them look exactly ready for a fight, at least not like what other Scavs or Scav bosses usually look. So these are not Scavs, they're probably not bosses, and they look like traders. It's safe to say at some point that these models were made for in-raid use in a non-combat form somehow. Whether it's using these models or not, a change like this would completely warp the fabric of the space-time continuum in Escape from Tarkov, as it's so ridiculously different than how it is now, people would lose their minds. There's plenty of workarounds to make this easier, like accessing the flea market from your laptop in the hideout. There could also be some things that you would need to walk to and some you don't. Maybe you can have things delivered too. It's not a simple cut and dry thing. There can be a bit of both in places. So there's something creeping in my mind with all of this information put together. If both of these features are implemented as intended, then we could be looking at a scenario like this in our future. Match into reserve, kill Gluhar, walk to customs, sell your stuff to a trader there, get ambushed on your way out, and then have to run to factory to hide. Ambush and kill the players that attacked you on customs, loot their stuff, and then get out. All of that is relatively possible based off of past development discussions, and if you shave off the part about the trader, it turns into a very likely scenario, one of which I really hope turns into reality. So for a quick recap, map-to-map travel is cool because it gives you more freedom of movement in raid, and in-raid traders are now more likely to be happening in my mind based off of these models, whether these models themselves were scrapped or not. However, it is still not confirmed. That's all for today, guys. If you want to learn more about Escape from Tarkov or its development, then you can check out my playlists for it here. If you are looking for people to play with, then you can join our Discord below. If you like this video, then you know the drill. I really appreciate the people who do. Otherwise, I hope you at least learned something, and I also hope you have a nice day. See you guys.